All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 118th annual membership meeting. It's been an incredible year for OLA, and I want to begin this meeting by thanking everyone. Thank you for your membership. Thank you for your involvement. Thank you for your dedication to OLA and Oklahoma libraries. And I've been honored to witness firsthand the strength of this association. So we have some good things on the agenda today, and hopefully it won't be too long, and I appreciate you taking your afternoon to be with us. And first of all, we have the financial report from Tim Miller.
Okay, that was on an agenda. I don't know if it's on the most recent one. Um, I hope everybody can see that. This is for actually last fiscal year ending June 30, which was Dana's presidential year. The important thing is at the very bottom where it has a net income for OLA that is quite substantial. Over the last 5 or 6 years, OLA has had a very strong organization financially. We have had a great partner in Amigos. They keep our books exceptionally well. And all of you who have led DROCs and had offices over those years have planned excellent events, mainly conference. Conference is our number one fundraiser for OLA. I will say we're not making as much as we used to on DROC-led workshops and learning modules. I think that's the new fancy name. But we're doing better on conference. And so overall, the association is doing exceptionally well. And I think that'll be my financial report.
Thank you, Tim. Does anybody have any questions for the finance report? If not, we are doing really well. Thank you, Tim. We will move on to number 3, the endowment report with Tara Jaronic.
All right. Can everyone see my slideshow? Thank you. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tara Jaronic, and I am one of the co-chairs of the endowment committee. And what I'm going to do today is just kind of give you a little bit of an overview of what we do. So you'll see in the first slide, this is just a list of our committee members, and I'm not going to go through them all, but what I do want to point out is that these are librarians from all over the state, different kinds of libraries. So we really are an eclectic group that really does represent the membership. Like I said, from all kinds. So what does the endowment actually do? You can see from the pictures, we obviously have a lot of fun. So that is part of it, but we also work really, really hard for the association. So what are the priorities? We inspire and cultivate greater innovation with continuing educational opportunities and leadership development in Oklahoma libraries. Now, a few of the things that we really prioritize are funding the scholarships, which you see that at conference, funding different educational opportunities. And one of my favorite things that we do is we allow the association to respond to new opportunities, forge and strengthen partnerships, and address critical challenges that may pop up through the year. And here in a minute, we're going to look at exactly what does it mean. So what it means is that we actively work to fund scholarships, the K-Boys Conference Experience, and the Ruth Brown Award. We help to support OLA Gold, and a little plug for Gold here is if you've never gone through it, it is by far one of the best professional experiences I've ever had. So if you get the chance, apply. We also endow the scholarships to ensure future sustainability. We fund continuing educational opportunities, and we support advocacy initiative proposed by the Advocacy Committee. Different fundraising activities that we've done in the past. Some of you have been around long enough to remember the Fabulous Cars fundraiser. It was a while back, but over $41,000 was raised just in that event, which is pretty incredible. If you think back to March, you notice that we did the scholarship basket auction and the scholarship bash. We've also done pet calendar fundraiser, and this last Christmas was the first time that we did the holiday home tour, and that was compliments of Stacy Schrank and his sweet wife, and it was a wonderful event. So areas of support, the 50th anniversary celebration for Sequoia, newspapers and education, the Festival of Books, graduate scholarships, Connie Van Fleet Memorial Scholarship, David Oberhelman Scholarship, for gold, the Ruth Brown Award, Information Matrix Camp, and Advocacy Social Media Campaign. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was a year ago, right, Gail? Yes, I'm seeing lots of nods.
Yes.
That's good. Okay. So I'm going to open it up for any questions. Sarah Robbins and I are the current chairs, but we are handing it over to Stacy and Rudy, and they are going to be absolutely phenomenal. So I want to encourage everyone on here to please lend them your support, and it's going to be a great year.
Tara, I just want to interject there. That was a wonderful report, but for those of you who don't know, I didn't want to steal their thunder, but the endowment committee raised more money during conference than they ever have this year. And that's just phenomenal. And it was one of the things I wanted to brag on. It's just remarkable success from the endowment.
Thank you, Gail, and thank you to everyone who has continued to support us at conference and throughout the year.
Thank you, Tara. Next, we have Charity presenting the advocacy report today.
Hello. So I am filling in for Lisa Wells, who is the current chair of the Advocacy Committee. She was unable to attend today, and I am the chair-elect. So I am happy to report that for libraries, this state legislative session has been relatively quiet. Our committee began watching this session about 30 bills. And as of April, we were only watching 8, and none of these were any that caused our committee much concern. And in fact, one bill that we are very hopeful about this week is Senate Bill 1168, which is related to the Governmental Tort Claims Act. It passed the Senate floor yesterday unanimously, and it will be available in the House tomorrow. And that bill uses language that defines public library to include library systems. And it's language that our committee has been wanting in the bill since the 1990s, I believe. So with the help of MMR, we were able to get that language added to part of the budget deal. So we're very pleased about the progress that bill is making this week and very hopeful about the outcome. And because of that successful relationship that we have with MMR and our continued advocacy success, our committee recently recommended to the executive board to approve a 3-year contract renewal with MMR for $22,200 annually. And that was, I believe, approved by our board. We also recommended to the board 4 Bill Lowry Library Champion Awards to be presented to Senator Julie Daniels, Senator Mark Mann, Representative Tony Hassenbeck, and Representative Michelle McCain. These are legislators who are noted for their support of all types of libraries, and both of the representatives are actually former school librarians. So we are extremely excited to be able to present them with their awards soon. And then I want to end my report before I open it up for questions with just a word of gratitude to the members of OLA. Our advocacy successes we've experienced the last few years are due in no small part to the willingness of all of our members to work together, no matter what type of library we serve. So we are definitely stronger together, and I appreciate the work of OLA. So I will now open it up for any questions that anyone may have. Okay, well, thank you all. Gail, thank you very much.
Thank you, Charity. And I just want to tell membership, I promise I'm not going to comment on everybody else's reports, but the work of the advocacy team has been recognized nationally this year. And I can tell you that from attending meetings through AOA as president of OLA, that they are seeing what we're doing in Oklahoma and they are wanting to mimic us. So congratulations, Charity, and everybody on the endowment. Okay, next we have Leanne Cheek, the AOA Council Report. Leanne?
Okay, so the Council of the American Library Association is the policy-making body of the association. The council has the authority to monitor and enforce adherence to all association policies. So this means that I have attended multiple meetings with a whole lot of Robert's rules, which have been very, very fun. This is a 3-year position and I'm finishing up my first term. I've learned a lot and I've had a lovely time. But just the main report I have is ALA is a great association and it is doing a lot of work right now to help support libraries nationwide. They are working with the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, filing a motion for a preliminary injunction and a lawsuit to stop the dismantling of the IMLS. This led to granting a temporary restraining order to block the Trump administration's dismantling of that association. And so that's some really awesome work that ALA is doing, and they're going to keep working on that to help us all with E-rate and everything else going on. And that's my main report.
Thank you, Leanne. Any questions before we move on? All right, I'm gonna turn it now to Trisha Andrews with the MPLA report.
Hi, everyone. I wanted to share a couple things happening in MLA this year. Mountain Plains Library Association, I am your rep. This is my first year out of 3 years, similar to Leanne. And at the Oklahoma Library Association conference this year, I was able to award 10 OLA members a free MPLA membership. And those emails went out a couple of weeks ago to let people register. We also had 3 Oklahoma OLA representatives that were able to attend the Mountain Plains Library Association Leadership Institute earlier this month. It's very similar to OLA Gold, but it's kind of MPLA's version that happens every other year. In the chat, I am going to put a link to our MPLA June-July newsletter that came out today. One of the president-elect nominations that's listed in there is our very own April Miller. So if you are an MPLA member, please pay special attention. There will be voting happening later this summer. MPLA is working on a file management similar to how OLA has it in Google Suite. So I'm leading that work group. We also just created an advocacy group based on what was happening in North Dakota with losing all of their staff. We also have conference planning coming up, putting another link in the chat. The joint MPLA South Dakota and North Dakota conference is going to be October 1st through 3rd in Grand Forks, North Dakota. So let me know if you're going to go because I'm going to be there as well. And just want to do a special call out in our OLA newsletter. I'm starting to do different MPLA updates so you all know what's happening. In the email that went out a few weeks ago, we have the MPLA award nominations that are currently open and being accepted through July 31st. And all of those winners are going to be announced at the October conference. So if you have any questions about MPLA, what we do, how you can be more involved, you can email me at mpla_rep@oklibs.org.
Thank you, Trisha. Does anybody have any information or questions for Trisha? Thank you. I'm moving on to the OKSL report with Melinda Gallagher.
Hi, so I am going to remain the chair for another year. Our chair-elect was Melody, and she is no longer in the library as her job. So I will remain as chair-elect. Megan Chase will be, I'm going to remain as chair. Megan Chase is going to be chair-elect. And then Tiffany Tequinto is our new finance officer, and Molly is going to be our new AASL rep. So those were some of our elected positions that to go forward for 25-26. And then I'm going to put a link in the chat because if you haven't seen, Molly Detman, Amanda Kordelsky, and Charity Pennington were all listed as AASL movers and shakers for their advocacy work. So if you haven't seen it, I'll put it in there. We're very, very proud of them, and they all have on their Oklahoma Library shirts and their pictures, so it looks great. And then finally, I mean, I don't really have anything else, but I am going to, oh, no, I did want to mention that the Rosen School Librarian of the Month is something that we started in February that is new for us. Rosen is sponsoring it. And so we have February, March, April, and May, and they all received a free set of books, and then a from Rosen, and a 1-year subscription to a one of their databases. So great rewards for these 4 lovely ladies: Kayla Smith from Norman North, Vanna Owens from Sequoia Elementary, I think it's up by Claremore, Cherokee Elementary School in Muskogee, Gina Beatty, and then just today, Emily Masters from Overholser was listed as our new May School Librarian of the Month. So we're really proud of that. And it's been a great advocacy tool, actually, because I get these great emails back from the superintendents and their principals as they as we send those letters. And so it's been a very successful new thing for us. And then finally, I'm going to put also in the chat a Facebook link just for fun. For April, for School Library Month, well, for Library Month, we did a school library promotion, and Miranda Hawley is amazing at doing some of our social media, and it's just a great fun video of librarians, school librarians all over the state. And so I'm going to stick that in there just for everybody if you haven't seen it. Anybody have any questions? Okay, that's it for me.
Melinda, I just wanted to say I've really enjoyed reading your newsletters this year. They're
Oh,
really
thank you.
fun, full of information, and they're just, they're cute. They're really nice. So
Thank
if
you.
y'all haven't had a chance to see the newsletter from OKSL, I encourage you to take a look.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mhm. All right, next we have the folio report from Angie Lewis. Angie, are you available for a report? Well, Allison, you want to do the gold report and we'll see if, or I'm sorry, not Amigos. Kristen, do you want to do your report and then we'll jump back?
Yeah, I can do my report. All right, I'm gonna share my screen right here. All right, hi everyone. My name is Kristen Evans. If you don't know me, I work for Amigos Library Services. I am your association management rep. I have been working with OLA since 2019. And so basically I assist OLA doing a lot of the administrative and financial work behind the scenes because you guys are all very busy people and you have your own full-time jobs. And so I just help you out so the board can focus on really important things like putting on great conferences and doing really fun, great stuff. If you ever email OLA, I'm probably the one that answers you. But if you do need to get in touch, this ola@amigos.org is the best way to get a hold of us. We did recently change our address, so just keep an eye on that. We are located in Baldwin, Missouri, and that is the mailing address for OLA. That is our Amigos office, but that's where you send your checks to. So I know that confuses some folks and they're wondering why they send checks to OLA to a address in Missouri, but that's our Amigos office and we process all the payments. And here is basically my report of all the stuff that I have done this year. I'm not going to bore you by reading all these numbers out. Suffice to say, you guys have been keeping me very busy. So thank you so much for all of the job security. Does anyone have any questions? All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. And OLA is fortunate to have a management company that helps us out in all those ways. So thank you.
Gail, this is Angie. I'm on now.
Okay, perfect. Hey, Angie.
Sorry about that. So as far as the Folio report, Folio is Friends of Libraries in Oklahoma. We're doing well. The board meets quarterly. We always have a few vacancies, so we're always kind of looking for new board members also. We also have an endowment that is growing. We have a general annual drive every year. And then we usually do a couple of specials like during Mother's Day and stuff, or endowment drive also. We enjoyed the OLA conference this year. We appreciate y'all's support and letting us tag on and have our special day there. And it's always nice. Y'all handle the registration and all that. We really appreciate your support in that too. So it was a good day. And also that day we presented scholarships. We presented 3 $1,000 scholarships that day, which is always exciting to do that. And then also we do annual awards. We did our Best Friends Award, the National Friends of Libraries Week Award, and then we also inducted a new member into our Hall of Fame, Kirk Baird. He really worked this year in totally overhauling our website. So we really appreciate his expertise in that. And we have a new website. So if y'all have time, go and look at that. So also we did our first literary site as separate from the Literary Landmarks program. We honored Tony Hillerman in March in Shawnee. His daughter Anne was there, and she was also there for the OLA conference. And again, we appreciate y'all partnering with us, getting her here for both of those events. It was really, really special. We appreciate that. And then the other exciting thing we started last year, Sharon Solomon initiated our first Splash Conference, which is held in October. Last year was our first one. This is just a day just for friends, members across the state to come together for a day, just for programs that they can learn from and take things away from. And so our second one this year is going to be October the 18th in Oklahoma City. So we're excited about that. So again, we appreciate y'all's support and everything we do, and letting us be involved in things that you do too. So thank you.
Thank you, Angie. And that was a really good event in Shawnee. That was very nice this year. Some of us were there and it was great. So I'm moving along to the OLA Gold Report from Allison Blankenship.
Hello. So my name is Allison Blankenship, and I am the committee chair for this year's OLA Gold Leadership Institute. So if you didn't get enough of me at conference, you'll get to deal with me for OLA Gold. Yay. So I am really excited about this year's institute. We had a highly competitive application process with so many great candidates. We will have 24 librarians from all across the state, encompassing public, school, and academic libraries. Several of you are on this call, so I'm really excited. This year's institute is going to be November 5th through the 7th at St. Crispin's Camp and Conference Center in Wewoken. And actually a shout out to Folio, because I believe you guys had your retreat at St. Crispin's and Gail was reading your newsletter. And so she was like, well, maybe this would be a good site. So she and Stacy and I went and toured it. And if you guys haven't been there, it's beautiful. I cannot wait to go. It's amazing. Our speaker this year will be Kathy Hakala Asperk. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And she is the owner of Libraries Thrive Consulting. So some of the topics for this year's institute will be change management, hiring, developing, and motivating staff, and culture, respect, and communication. And one thing that the committee is really excited about doing is that our agenda for Friday's institute is totally going to focus on all things OLA. That used to be how institutes were in the past, and over the last few institutes, I think they've kind of gotten away from that. But now we're going to get back to it, and we're going to focus on OLA and how participants can become more active in the association if they aren't already. And if they are already active in the association, how they can take on more leadership roles within the association. If you are not familiar with the OLA Gold Leadership Institute, I'm going to put a link in the chat. This has information on the institute, past institutes, but like an overview is it's an immersive leadership experience that includes a 6-week-long online component that will be followed by the in-person 3-day retreat. And these institutes take place every 3 years. So if you're interested in attending, our next institute will be in 2028. So I'm happy to take any questions that anyone might have now, or if you think of any questions in the future, you can feel free to email me at leadership@oklibs.org.
Allison, there's a message in the chat. Will the 2025 leadership participants be announced?
Yes, we are about to have a meeting tomorrow, actually. And so once we get things finalized for that, we will get it out.
All right, thank you very much. Next, we're going to move to the OLA membership report with Tammy Duncan and Cheyenne Weller.
Hello, I am Cheyenne Weller. I am the current membership engagement chair. I wanted to just give a brief overview. We had a lot of great connections with people at conference, and we held our annual There's a Place for You in OLA. Something that we're going to do in the future is work with the next chair for membership, and Connor, it's our wonderful Connor Kirk, and he's gonna grow that and see how we can improve for our new members and students looking to get involved in OLA. We also have a upcoming membership meetup for all of members. I'm going to throw the link in the chat. It's free. Membership engagement has covered the cost. It is at the OKC Museum of Modern Art. It is going to be a guided tour. If you're interested, check it out. I believe there's still some space, so you have till June 7th to sign up. And then I wanted to introduce Tammy. I'm going to hand it off to her in just a minute and share my screen. We were directed by our previous chair, Courtney Oliphant, and their president, Dana Belcher, to create a membership report that shows the changes and everything else in our membership data. And so that is something that Tammy Duncan just took and made into a beautiful spreadsheet. And so I wanted to share my screen so we can go over it, and then I will let the why is it? I'll let the pro talk about it. All right, Tammy, the floor is yours.
Okay, I am on. I did pull into a Walmart parking lot so that I was not driving during this. It's still saying that it's sharing the screen. Oh, there it is. Oh, beautiful. Okay, great. So everything's on here. So every month Cheyenne sends me the report. She puts it in the shared drive report, and I pull down the data that Amigo has provided us. Some of the things that we had difficulties on trying to keep the names the same and the different categories the same. And so I created this report, updated it so that we have the same verbiage and terminology. So where it says current breakdown on the top, that is all of membership as a whole every single month, where our membership is going every single month. And then in the yellow line, you'll see the new members each month. And then I did a breakdown of the new members based on the same verbiage of librarians and support, retire, inactive, and things like that. Based on these numbers, I was able to create your membership breakdown information below in two different bar charts here. So you can see where most of our librarians are coming from, are mainly librarians and support staff. And then the next most common one is students. You can see that in the month of January, we had a very large spike in students joining, and I'm sure that had everything to do with that they wanted to get the discount for our conference. Currently, we are setting at total enrollment of 751, and actually I think I left that as in February because that was our high, and I wanted to leave our high in there. Hopefully we got 2 more months, so we should get back up to the 751. But we are setting right now at a 10%, almost 11% growth over last year. And so this report, now that I've got it going is pretty simple. It will pretty much run itself going forward.
Tammy is awesome and did an amazing job. Just need to say that. Does anybody have any questions?
Dana just said, is there a membership breakdown? And I'm not sure I know the current breakdown is the top set of numbers. And then I broke down the new members as well in the same criterias.
I know now that when people are joining or renewing, they can mark that they're academic or public or school. That's what I was meaning.
No, I did not get that broke down. That can be a goal for next year. Is that something that we spoke? I know we had an initial conversation that we wanted to speak with Amigo to add those. Did those get added? And if
Yes,
so,
that is in the membership report.
okay, then yes, I can definitely add those in for next year. I'm sorry, I remember that conversation now, but forgot it when I was putting this report together.
And I will share the link in the chat in just a little bit. All right.
Any other questions regarding this or any other suggestions you would like for us to add?
I just want to say, I think it's easy to read and it's nice to have something that's not just pages of people's names, but you can see, you know, the trends. So that's nice. And to be able to break it down by different types of librarians will be nice. So thank you both for working on that. Okay, moving right along. Next, we have the presentation of the 2025-26 officers and election results. Tim Miller.
All right, I'm back. This time I am appearing in a one-time only role as governance chair. That was a very challenging role for me, so I'm not for sure I will probably do that again. But when you get asked by the president, you should always say yes, and that's a good lead in to our officer elections because it is difficult to get members to agree to run for office. Understand when you're asked by the nominating committee to run, that is a sign that OLA sees you as a leader, that you have some skill that we feel will benefit the association greatly. And so think about it very seriously. Now, this year we had some very strong races, very, very strong, some of the strongest we've had in a while. On the agenda, you can see the link to the officer elections. I do want to say thank you to all those who ran. OLA will be in very good hands moving forward. But also remember, when you get that call, the joke I'll make, going back to Marty Thompson, there's a few people on this call who knows who that is. That's not you don't get to say no to that. When the nominating committee calls and asks you to run for an office of OLA, that's one of those career shifting things that you say yes to, even if you don't think you can do it, because your mentors certainly do. And so keep that in mind. And anybody can do anything with enough motivation, even run a committee I've probably never been on before. So thanks to everybody who got elected. And I look forward to seeing what Mike does with the association next year when he takes over in July.
All right, thank you and congratulations to everyone that was elected. And Tim, we'll just roll it into resolutions.
I'm going to try, probably not going to be able to show those. So I think they were linked on your agenda. My apologize. I don't have the tech I usually would have. There were two written. President-elect Shay Beasley gets credit for initially drafting these, did some excellent work putting these together. One thanking Dr. Hayden for her service as the Librarian of Congress, and the other making some comments about our legislative actions. Both of them are available for you to read. Shay, do you want to say anything about them as the author? I know you're on here.
I don't think there's anything that really needs to be said beyond, I feel like it's important that we take a stand about these things. The past couple of years, we haven't had any resolutions put forth by the membership, and I strongly felt that not having any resolutions this year was just as much of a statement.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to draft those, Shay, and then the members of the committee who had some great chats back and forth last week to strengthen those initial drafts into what you see there before you. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Tim and Shay. I was just gonna ditto the work that the committee did to make them, sound good and be there forever historically. So very important resolutions. Thank you. All right. Is there any new business or somebody that wanted to share anything before I move into my closing remarks? Okay, it's kind of ditto what Tim said. As we close this meeting, I want to thank everybody. Thank you for your time, your voice, your service to the association. And it's powered by volunteers. I know you all know that, but we achieve everything because we step up and we say yes to people that ask us to do these important pieces of the association. It's been a privilege to lead alongside so many passionate people. And I'm incredibly proud of what we've done this year. And I'm excited to see how OLA continues to grow with the leadership next year and then followed by Shay the following year. So Mike and Shay, I know y'all will do a great job. And as we look ahead, I encourage you to stay engaged and just find your place in OLA, whatever that is, whatever feeds your passion. There's a space for you, I promise. And again, I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve as your president. I can get it out of my mouth. It's been an honor, and I'll always carry that with me. Thank you again. And I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone.